beautiful pieces of furniture that you've created can come out of a total mess. So this piece kind of went south. I started painting it with vintage linen, and then I'm painting this in vintage linen, and I'm just kind of not feeling it. I've been around and around and around in my head what to do with it. I asked my Facebook group community. Thank you to those who contributed. I always go back to French style. This is from Edith and Evelyn. I will link to this inspiration piece on Pinterest. I have a board of French inspired furniture. I am going to break out some skeleton key, some faded burlap, some of this gilding wax. Sometimes when you are working on a piece of furniture, it just kind of has to evolve into a few different things. Sometimes also having too many choices makes it really hard. Welcome to my garage. We're going to finish up with a tour here later, but I just wanted to start. Does this kind of look like your stash? Let me know. Here's what I started with. I actually got this on Facebook Marketplace for really cheap. It's got a lot of dings, so it's going to need some cleaning first. I like to use a 1 part vinegar and water. I like the vinegar and water because you don't have to rinse it off. This works great for just grime and general yuck. I need to do a little sanding on the top, but be sure that the dust collector is firmly attached to your sander before you get started. And be sure you wear protective gear. Because this piece is old and I have sanded it, which has made an uneven finish, I am going to do 1 coat of Salvation Solution. This is an oil-based product. It will block any stains coming through. You will definitely want to use this in a well-ventilated area, but I can't stress enough how amazing this is to prevent bleed through. Next invaluable tip. Do you suffer from gooped up paint in the lid of your paint can? Here's an easy fix. Use a nail to punch a bunch of holes in it and then pour the paint into a separate can. When you go to clean it up, this paint drips right back into the can. So here's a tip I always forget until I'm deep into the project. When you're doing a dresser or something with drawers, take all the drawers out and paint alongside where the drawers fit in. Trust me, you'll be so glad you did this, because I can't tell you how many times I have gotten to the end of a project and then realized, crud, sealed, done, ready to go. The drawers are going in a little bit further and you can see where it hasn't been painted. I wanted to show you my favorite paintbrush for details, the DIY Paint Perfectionist. It hits all these little details. We are going to do something different. We're doing skeleton key. So we're going to do a fun blending thing. So it is good that I have a vintage linen down, and we're going to do skeleton key, but I'm going to do a light blend on the front with the vintage linen because I want it to feel like the light is hitting this front of this. Then the next decision is which transfer or paint inlay to use from IOD. Big decision, so stay tuned to see what I do. The inlay part of the dresser did not record properly either. I was having massive problems with my iPad that I record on, so I have tons of material for a reel. So I went ahead and I wanted to show how easy it is to blend DIY paint. I used footage from a dresser I did, I think it was a couple years ago. It's still relevant and I hope it's helpful, and I hope that you try blending DIY paint. There's no latex or acrylic, so it blends like butter. So when you're blending, you're gonna have a blending brush, which is like your neutral brush. You wanna use this to blend the color. So I actually have all of these brushes here. I'd like to keep a ton on because eventually your blending brush gets gooky. It's really important you keep your surface wet, so keep a continuous mister nearby and use only a little bit of paint. Get it wet and use your blending brush to start feathering them together. Less is more, and with a little practice, you can blend like a pro. Speaking of difficult decisions, look at all this stuff in my garage. Almost everything has been found or given to me. What piece should I do next? Leave a comment if there's something that you'd like to see made over. To show how to use the inlay, I'm using this cradle board. I did a combination of water lily and hay sailor, and then I'm going to go over the middle with some white linen. And this is where things go wrong some more. What I originally planned didn't film right, so then I was going to show the inlays on a piece of cradle board, but the original inlay I used on the dresser didn't come out right, so I used another piece of it. Just know that it's okay. Stuff happens. Stuff goes wrong. But you know what? That's all part of the learning process. this. Let's move on. It's okay. A shop or paper towel nearby and wipe off excess paint. On the outside is the queen bee. Next up is liquid sunshine. I'm repeating the whole process of the water bottle, blending, and wiping off that blending brush. I'm building the colors of a sunset, and my next color is cake batter. It's a really buttery yellow. In time for the brightest part of the sunset, it will be crinoline in the center. This is where light would naturally hit the dresser, so it's going to be beautiful when all of these colors are blended together. When using an IOD inlay, you want to make sure that the paint underneath your inlay is wet. Then you're going to spray it down and place it very carefully. Allow it to dry and then use a spray bottle to re-wet it and pull up gently. The paint will have embedded. I really think the details make the difference. I painted the sides with skeleton key and I used other pieces of the inlay on the sides of the drawers, so when people pull the drawers out, it's gonna look extra special. Nothing makes a piece feel more luxurious than finishing it with DIY paint clear wax. You can see that the wax is making the paint really translucent. All the wax freak out factor, the wax is absorbing into all the layers. When it dries, it's gonna look amazing. And here you can see it dried, how beautiful those layers look, and the drawers with the detail. It was really funny. I spend, and I imagine some of you spend, a lot of time on trying to slow down the clock, making our skin look younger, stopping the aging process. But when it comes to furniture, I love making it look old and aged. If you're interested in finding free furniture or leftover garage sales, sunup is the best time to go before everybody's out on the road. One of my favorite ways to make furniture look old is to use the DIY paint dark wax. I am just putting a teeny bit on the edge of my brush, and you can see that fluted area. It's going to pick up that dark wax, and then you want to wipe it off. Be sure you have a layer of clear wax first, otherwise it will absorb right into the paint. I'm adding a little of the gilded wax, which unfortunately is not available right now, but you can use a dry brush of the gold patina. Look how gorgeous it adds just detail to these foot. I love highlighting the areas, and now look how gorgeous and Frenchy my piece looks. It was worth all the mistake. Let me know what you think in the comments. I added some gold knobs. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Come visit me at Berg-Redouxinteriors.com. I'll list all the products below that I used in this project. Thanks for watching.